Well, assessing the damage today after arrests, violence, a lot of mayhem at these May Day protests yesterday. Contractors getting to work fixing all the broken windows at a bank in Oakland that was targeted. But instead of backing down, Occupy Wall Street in New York gearing up for still more demonstrations. Now, we should stress, by comparison, rather peaceful here in the Big Apple. But these guys did cause a mess elsewhere, and they tend to get a free pass. Yet the Tea Partiers are labeled nuts and crazies. Tea Party activist Gina Loudon joins you right now. Gina, I know at some level it's got to bug you because, you know, I can remember covering a lot of Tea Party events, and they were picking garbage up after our crew. In other words, they were so concerned about leaving a site exactly as they came upon it that they were neatniks about it. But that's neither here nor there. It just is. What do you make of the way the media treats both of you?
Well, there's no comparison, Neil. From the very beginning, the Occupy movement, and I would call them the Occupy terrorists if I had my way, has demonstrated again and again they have no real agenda. They have no plan. They have no platform. We all know the Tea Party platform: constitutional, smaller government, more freedom, less taxes. This is a no-brainer for Tea Partiers. Yet if you ask occupiers individually, they don't really know what they want. All they know is they're out there screaming about Wall Street, attacking capitalism, when if you think about it, Neil, capitalists would never have bailed out Wall Street. Capitalists would never have bailed out GM. Capitalists, in fact, would have let them fall and pull themselves back up by the bootstraps and be leaner and meaner and
no, you're
less
right about
unionized.
But Gina, and I've covered these events. I covered your earliest days, and I remember the rage. A lot of people say, oh, this is an Obama phenomenon. You guys were railing against President Bush, as was I, with the financial rescues, saying that they were setting a very slippery slope and standard by which everyone would be rescued, would lead to cash for everything, all the way to clunkers. But you can't control the prevailing view in the media. But it's got to bother you to see how maybe the occupiers seem hip and either you seem square or out of touch. What do you think of that?
Yeah, but Neil, you know, I think the American public is catching on. I truly do. If you just take the idiot score, if you will, you have about 6,000, I believe, is the current tally of arrests on occupiers. Compare that to a score of 0 for the Tea Party. You have countless murders, you know, killings that take place. You have, for the people talking about the war on women on the Republican side, they need rape-free zones at Occupy events. How many rape-free zones have you ever heard about on the Tea Partier side? But you know,
well,
it is frustrating.
Now, I know what you're saying, but I think those events are in the distinct minority. I grant you that with reports of that, and you're right to raise that because none of that ever happened at Tea Party events.
Right,
but I will
Neil,
ask you this. What do you think of their approach? That is to be all over the map, where Tea Partiers were a single issue, work within the system to change the system, elect, in this case, 80-some-odd congressmen and women to force spending cuts, to get Washington to cut spending. And again, back to these guys who are, again, on everything.
Yeah, well, I think one important thing to definitely point out regarding their events is if there were one event, Neil, you know this and I know this and everybody watching this knows, if Tea Partiers threatened to total out one bridge as they did in Cleveland, as the occupiers did in Cleveland. That's all we'd ever hear. Neil, you would preface this interview with Gina Loudon, member of the violent Tea Party. I mean, you wouldn't, but anyone else interviewing me would. That's the difference. That's the double standard. The reality, Neil, I have a post up on townhall.com right now talking about their ties. Very specifically, I give all the links of their ties to the Communist Party. Make no mistake, this is about a radical, complete agenda to change the face of this country, and they can't really say what they're for.
Well, their problem was everyone glommed on. It got the unions on, it got other nefarious types on, because it was all over the map. So no point can stick. But Gina, thank you very, very much. Great seeing you again.
Neil, always great to see you. Thank you.
Gina Loudon. We'll take a puff on this. Smoke